Today I wanted to sit down and do my go-to makeup look when I want to look polished and put together, but not overdone. This is not like a full beat, full coverage sort of makeup look that I would wear on like a date night or where I need my makeup to last a super long time, but it's not a like no makeup look where I'm just throwing on makeup in like 5 minutes to run errands. Like you look at me and you can tell that I have makeup on, which I'm okay with that, but it's not super full coverage. You can still see some of my imperfections peeking through. This is the type of makeup look I would wear if I had like lunch plans or like a barbecue grill out at a friend's house, or I actually wore this pretty much exact makeup look yesterday when I dropped off all of the makeup and clothing that I was donating to Dear Dinah that I told you guys about. I went and dropped all that stuff off yesterday and I pretty much wore this makeup look. Honestly, this is probably just most people's everyday makeup routine that they always do and they always look like this, which I think is beautiful. But for me as a makeup lover, I do have different levels of how much makeup I put on, how much effort I do put in my makeup. And this is a look that I feel confident in. I feel polished and put together, like I said, but not overdone, not too makeup-y, not too full beat, not too full glam, anything like that. Let's go ahead and get started and show you how I made this. I do always start out with an eye primer just because my eyelids are oily. It's funny, I feel like the drier my face gets, the more oily my eyelids get, which is kind of frustrating, but what can you do about it? I've even stopped putting eye cream on my eyelids throughout the day. I only do it under my eyes during the day. I put it on my whole eyelid and everything at night because I thought that was contributing to my eyelids being oily, but I don't think that that's really doing anything. They're still getting oily, but it's okay. I use the Ulta Beauty Matte Veil Longwear Eye Primer for that. Now for eyeshadow, I will either skip eyeshadow altogether and leave my lids bare, or I'll go in with just bronzer into my crease. I actually really like that look, but recently what I've been enjoying doing is putting one single matte eyeshadow all over my lid and up into the crease. Either whatever bronzer I'm using, that can work for that. I've done that many times. The Naked shade from the Naked palette, it's just like a plain matte brown, is beautiful for this type of look. But recently I picked up this Giorgio Armani. This is their Longwear Luminous Liquid Eyeshadow Eye Tint. It comes in a couple different finishes, but I did pick up a matte one, and this is in the shade Cashew 22. I have really been enjoying this. I've only used this 2 times off camera, but both times I've been really impressed with it because usually these type of liquidy eye shadows get pretty patchy on me and end up creasing by the end of the day, and both times I've used this, that has not happened. So I wanted to show it in today's video because I have been really impressed by this. So I just take a little bit on my eyelid like so, and then I'll take a brush. This is just an Essence eye blender brush. I got this for really cheap at Ulta. Probably like a year or 2 ago, and I start by blending this into the crease and all over my eyelid. And this blends out so fast and easy. It dries quickly, but not too quickly to where you don't have time to work with it, which I enjoy. Sometimes these products dry so fast that you literally do not have time to blend, but this, you have the time. So that's about like one light little layer on my eyes, and I just think that looks so pretty. It's just a light wash of color on your eyelid that gives you a little bit of definition, but it's not anything too intense. Now I do leave it like this sometimes, or if I do want a little something extra, depending on what I'm doing, I do go in with a little bit more on my eyelid, not much, and then blend it in with my finger. So that way my eyelid is a little bit darker, has a little bit more definition, and that's it. And these are like so quick and easy. This was not cheap. This was not cheap. I actually don't, I think it was like $38 for like this one little tiny cream, whatever eyeshadow. So that is not, you know, super affordable. However, I've really been impressed with it. Like I said, most of the time these type of products get patchy on me, which there's like not a patch in sight. And they also get creasy by the end of the day. And the both times I've worn this, it has not done that. Again, this is in the shade Cashew. I went back and forth when I was deciding to buy this, what shade I wanted to get, but I'm actually really glad I decided to get this one. I think it's a really good shade on me. It's a nice neutrally brown that's not too dark, too deep, but it's not too light to where you can't see it. You know what I mean? Okay, we'll also go in with some sort of primer just because I feel like primer does make a difference on my skin. Some people don't think that primer does anything, and to each their own, but for me, I really do think it helps. I'll either go in with my Hourglass Mineral Veil because that really locks in my makeup throughout the day and helps it wear for a long time, or depending on how my skin is feeling, I will go in with a hydrating primer. Today my skin is feeling pretty dry, so I'm going to go in with the Laura Mercier Pure Canvas Primer, the hydrating one. It's just a lotiony consistency. Sorry, I probably should have showed you before I blended it out on my hand, but it's just like a jelly lotion consistency that blends into your skin nicely, or I guess rubs into your skin, sinks into your skin nicely. It does have a little bit of a scent, almost like just skincare-y. Not anything too offensive, but I did want to note it. But I do feel like this sinks into your skin nice. It doesn't leave like too oily or greasy of a feeling on the skin. Sometimes hydrating primers can do that, and I don't like that. Even though I do have dry skin, I don't want that like greasy, super hydrating feeling, because then I feel like by the end of the day my skin will be too oily. Actually, I did this step yesterday and I really liked it, so I'm going to do it again today. I'm also going to take the Laura Mercier Pure Canvas Blurring Primer, but I'm just going to use a little tiny bit, that much right here, and we're just going to put this in my T-zone. A little bit, mostly right here where my pores are really prevalent, a little bit on my forehead and my chin. I don't know if this really does anything, but I like to think it does. I do feel like my pores look slightly more blurred out. I also like to use this one all over the skin sometimes, or all over the face. Sometimes blurring primers are weird if you do that, and this one seems to work all over the face, which I do enjoy. Then for a complexion product, I usually go for a less coverage foundation. I do not have that many of those in my collection. I don't have that many options. I am a full coverage girly. I have a lot of things to cover up: redness, acne scars. This spot has been on my face for like a month at this point. It was a zit, and I popped it a couple times, and now it's just a huge red, like that's like Jupiter on my face, and it is not going away, which is really great. But I do have like just acne scars, redness that I do like to cover up. But for this sort of look, I don't mind if some of this shines through and peeks through a little bit, because I do feel like it just makes it look more natural, more healthy, more, I guess just natural is the word that I want to say. When I have like a full beat, full coverage foundation on, I feel confident in the sense that I have all of this covered up and all the color on my skin is coming from something that I want on there, such as bronzer and blush. Whereas when I go in with a little bit lighter coverage of a foundation, some of this like redness, like especially down here, does end up peeking through throughout the day. But again, for this kind of look, this kind of like vibe I'm going for, I don't mind that. So for today, I'm going to use the Laura Mercier Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Foundation. It says it's perfecting. I really don't think it does. This has a pretty medium coverage on me, so I just get a little bit out on the hand, and we're going to rub it in. I like this foundation. I do. When I first tried it, I wasn't sure how I felt about it. I like how thin it is. It's very, very thin on the skin, so you really cannot feel it at all, which I do enjoy. In this, I have the shade 1C1 Cool Vanille, just to let you know. It's a pretty good shade match on me. Maybe slightly too light, but not anything terrible, especially since it is a little bit more of like a medium coverage. You can get away with, lighter coverage things not matching you perfectly, unlike a full coverage foundation. You would really want that to match your skin. But this just blends in really easily. Does provide some coverage. Like it does even out my skin quite a bit. Tamps down the redness, tamps down, the acne scars and stuff. But it's not perfecting. Like you still can see all that stuff peeking through. So here's the foundation all blended into my skin. Again, I just think it looks pretty on the skin. I think it looks natural. The little sheen and glow that I've got going on looks like healthy skin, you know what I mean? For concealer, I'm also gonna go in with Laura Mercier. This is their Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Concealer. The shade that I have right now in this that is working for me is 0N1. Now, I do go in with a little bit of this concealer down here just to help with the redness a little bit, and a little bit on here. However, this is kind of more of a medium coverage concealer also, along with the foundation. So this isn't going to like completely blank it out and perfect it either, which is usually not my vibe, but I actually really do like these products. Again, this concealer is super thin, kind of like the foundation, and it just blends in really nicely into the skin. It's also not drying, especially on my under eyes, which I enjoy. I do tend to have pretty dry under eyes. Most concealers I feel like end up looking dry on my under eyes, but not this one. And it does provide a little bit of coverage. Like you can tell that dot on my face is a little less red after I put the concealer on. Especially here, my skin is like doing something weird right now where it's like really red right here. I don't know why it's doing that. My skin is just weird, but that helped cover that up as well. Also on the under eyes, a little bit of my blueness still peeks through. But say it with me. For this vibe and this like look that I'm going for, I don't mind that. And then I usually opt for just a cream bronzer that I go ahead and set down with powder in a little bit, and that's usually good for me. The cream bronzers that I like to use do end up shining through after I set my face down with powder, so I don't really feel the need like I have to put on a powder bronzer. You totally can. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It just depends on how I'm feeling. But today I want to use the Patrick Ta Cream Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo in the shade She's Statuesque. This is the type of look that I don't want a super dark bronzer on me. I mean, I don't really do that at all anymore. I try not to. Like, I try to go in with more natural, lighter bronzers these days. And this one definitely fits that bill. You can see it on there. Like, it's definitely bronzing my face and giving me some definition and color. And my face isn't like one dimension anymore, but it's not too dark in my opinion. I think it just gives a really nice sculpt to the face without being too intense. Please let me know down below in the comments if you tried this product, because I feel like I rave about this bronzer duo, especially the cream, and I don't know. I don't really feel like I see a lot of people talking about this duo. The blushes get a lot of hype and a lot of airtime, especially here on YouTube, but I don't really think that the bronzer does. And maybe it's one of those things where it just really works out well for me and not really for other people. I mean, obviously there are products out there like that, but I would love to know if you've tried these bronzer duos. Maybe not this shade, but whatever shade works best for you. And if you love them as much as me, because I love them, especially the cream. Oh, it just looks so good. Blends in so nicely. It's a perfect tone on me. I love it. I will go in now and set my face down with a powder. I like to use a lightweight powder that's not too heavy, too oomphy on the skin. I have quite a few of those in my collection that I love to use at a certain time and place. The Huda Beauty powder, Anastasia Beverly Hills loose powder. Those are the two that really come to mind that are more thicker, heavier powders, but in a good way. I like that for a time and place, specifically a more like full coverage, full beat where I need my makeup locked in all day and looking perfect. But for this sort of vibe, I do enjoy a more lightweight powder. I love to use the Ami Colé powder. However, I did just use mine up. It's completely gone. It's back there in my empties bin to talk about whenever I do my next empties video. I do need to pick a new one up though, because I love that powder. And another really good lightweight powder is the Hourglass powder. This is their Veiled Translucent Setting Powder. This has been a go-to of mine for a very, very long time. It's just a really perfect lightweight powder that does set your makeup down. Like, I feel like it does help your makeup last, but it's not thick, it's not heavy, it's not cakey, and it's not drying, which is exactly what I need. It's bougie and it's expensive, but I will always buy it. So I get some on my powder puff. This kind of looks like a lot of powder, but it's really not, and I feel like I spread this around one side of my face. So I go ahead and get some on my powder puff, get these lines out of my eyes. And then, I mean, this isn't really any revolutionary of a step. I just kind of set my face with this. How I would any other powder, any other time I'm doing my makeup. Bring some on my chin. I do put some up on my forehead as well. I don't feel like this is a super blurring powder, but I just feel like it sets my makeup down really nicely and it's not drying. That's like the main thing I like. It's very lightweight. I do like to also set down here just to make sure that coverage stays. It's not full coverage. It's not going to cover up everything, but the coverage I do have down there, I do want to stay throughout the day. And then I just set the rest of my face with a little puffy brush. I do want to add a little bit of powder bronzer. I don't necessarily feel like I need to. When you're looking at me, you can see the bronzer. I think it's enough on my skin, but I want to add a little bit and I want to like contour out this jawline. I don't ever really do that with a cream bronzer, and also my nose. Again, I don't really do that with a cream bronzer. I only really do that with powder. I don't know why. So I'm just going to take the powder from this duo. It's a pretty lightweight powder. It's not super intense. Doesn't have a ton of pigmentation, which I like. We're just going to add a little bit to the forehead and the cheeks. And then we're just going to get a little bit down the nose. You guys already know e.l.f. Wow Brow. It's like the only brow product I use. Just going to run this through there really quickly. And usually for a look like this, I will go ahead and skip highlight, but I like to add a more glowy blush to give my cheeks that like life and glowiness to it. Although I do feel like my skin is looking pretty glowy right now with that like skin-like finish of the foundation and the concealer, and then that powder being so lightweight. I do feel like I have a pretty sheen to my face already. Like, it's not looking super matte and flat, which I like. I just like to add a more like glowy blush just because I think it's pretty. The Hourglass blushes are perfect for this. They do give that nice sheen and glow on your skin. I also love these Essence one. I have two shades. I have Shimmering Rose right here and then Cool Coral. These are stunning on the cheeks. Like truly, I love them so much. I also love using my Buxom Primer Infused Blush in the shade Wonderlust. I don't think they make these anymore though. Every time I use this and I go to link it, I cannot find it either at Ulta or Buxom's website. I only see their newish like cream blushes that they launched a couple months ago, and I don't see their powder ones anymore, which is a shame because this is stunning. But today I do want to go ahead and use my Kosas one. This is my favorite. This is their Blushes Life blush in the shade Dreamland. This just gives my skin the most perfect rosy, glowy finish. I love the shade. I love the finish. I love everything about this blush. So we're just going to take it on my cheeks as you do a blush. I don't mind it going up a little bit higher on my cheeks as well since I don't have highlight on, so that way it can give a little bit of glow to the skin. I don't know what is happening right here. Okay, just ignore this, please. I don't know why my skin is doing that. I know I've talked about this blush 100 times on my channel before, so like just bear with me if you've heard me rave about this blush, but if you can see, it just gives the most beautiful sheen on your skin without being glittery. That's the thing about some blushes, like the Essence ones. The Shimmering Rose one is a little glittery, I will say. It's still beautiful on the skin. It's not like too glittery. I still like to use it, but this Kosas Dreamland one is definitely my favorite for just giving a healthy sheen on your skin without being glittery. And I go kind of ham with it. Yeah, I don't mind a super blushy look because my eyes are so subdued, and usually I go in with a pretty subdued lip as well. So I don't mind if the blush is like a little bit poppier on the cheeks. Went ahead and applied mascara off camera because that doesn't really change no matter what makeup I'm wearing. You probably could already guess I use the Clio Kill Lash Superproof Mascara Long Curling. The only difference is I maybe put a little less mascara on my lower lashes when I'm doing like this kind of makeup look, but it's pretty much always the same. For lips, I sometimes go in without a lip liner. I most of the time do wear a lip liner, but I'll wear a more lighter tone, a little bit more nudie of a lip liner. I mean, let's be honest, that's pretty much what I wear all the time anyways, but I try not to go overboard with the lip liner, too deep, too dark, anything like that. So for today, we're going to use the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil Extreme in the shade Wherever Walnut. We're just going to line my lips. I went ahead and filled it in a little bit, and I did smudge it. I try not to overline my lips. Well, really, I try not to overline my lips that much ever, but sometimes I do get a little wild with my lip liner. But on this type of look, I try not to overline my lips because I do want them to look as natural as possible. And then I usually go in with some sort of like shiny, lightweight lipstick, kind of like the Revi Beauty ones. I love these so much. Lily is my favorite shade. I wear that all the time. It's in my purse right now. Or I do like to go in with some sort of gloss on top of this. So I figured I would go ahead and use the ColourPop Fresh Kiss Glossy Lip Balm in the shade Strawberry Milk. This has a little hint of pink, which I thought would look good with the blush and the lip liner. Also, these are really, really great. They're juicy and plumping, not plumping like hurting plumping, just make your lips look plumper. And it smells really good. It smells like strawberries. And then for setting spray, I do switch it up depending on like what's going on. So if my face is not looking as glowy as I maybe want it to, I will go in with my Cali Ray Surf Proof setting spray. This really does help lock in your makeup, but it adds a sheen and glow to your skin that I like, but I just don't always want. Or I like to go in with my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless setting spray. You guys know this is one of my favorites. It's been one of my favorites for years at this point. If I do want my makeup to last a little bit longer, I will wear this. This also does give a little sheen and glow. Again, I like it, but the one I'm going to use today is the Benefit the Professional Super Setting Spray. I just feel like this helps my makeup last a little bit longer, but it doesn't change the finish of my skin, which is what I want today. I already feel like I'm looking kind of glowy and a little bit shiny. I like it at this level though. I don't want more. And then I still just take my sponge and just lightly press. These have been my 3 go-to setting sprays for a very long time at this point. I don't really wear any other setting spray. The only other setting spray I even have on my desk is the Urban Decay like Ultra Glow one, and I like that one. I reach for it every once in a while, but these 3 are my jam. I use these all the time. And that was it, you guys. That's my go-to makeup when I just want to look put together and polished, but not too overdone. As you can see, it's not full coverage. My imperfections are still peeking through. You can still see redness in my acne scars. You can still see some blueness on my under eyes, but I feel good in this makeup. I feel confident, but it's not too overdone. It's not too much. It's not too glam. It doesn't look like I sat down and put on a pound of makeup and spent an hour on my makeup because I didn't do that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, whether it was just entertaining and you just had fun hanging out with me. I appreciate that so much. Or maybe you got a new tip or trick or a new product you want to try from this video. Everything will be listed and linked down below like usual. They are affiliate links. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. You're awesome and I love you. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you have not yet, and hope to see you in my next video. Bye guys.